Morning, everyone. Today, I will be teaching you how to bake chocolate chip cookies. Step number 1, if you got long hair, like me, tie your hair back because no one wants hair in their cookie. Step number 2, wash your hands. Here's a list of everything I will be using in this video. 1 large bowl. Another large bowl. It doesn't matter if this one's like a little bit smaller. 2 egg. A cup of butter, which is 2 sticks, unsalted. Make sure it's like pretty cold. Vanilla extract, granulated sugar, brown sugar. I'm using light brown. I've used dark brown before. They both taste good. Sea salt, baking soda, cornstarch, all-purpose flour. And then I use Ghirardelli, what's it? Chocolate chips. This one is semi-sweet, and this one is bittersweet. I like to do a good mix to get a good variety. And then I'm also using German Sweet Baker's Chocolate Bar and semi-sweet Baker's Chocolate Bar. I will be making 2 batches today for the tailgate on Saturday. So that's why I have a lot more chocolate chips than I usually use. But I'm gonna mix it all together and spread it throughout the dough. So there's a good variety and ones that like overpower. A rubber spatula, cup measurements, tablespoon, teaspoon measurements, big knife, cutting board, and then you also need a pan. A pan to like put the cookies on, parchment paper, and then the wire cooling rack, and then the spatula to take the cookies off the parchment paper. And that is it. Oh, and your big, strong muscles, because low-key this gets hard. Okay, so the first thing I do with my cup of butter is cube it. And to do that, so you can tell I just took this out of the refrigerator because it's actually kind of hard. I cut it long ways, and then I flip it on one side, cut it again. Oh my god. That doesn't usually happen. And then, you just go down and slice into little cubes. And I'll show you what the final product looks like. Okay, this is about the size that I cut them into. See, this splits into 4. They're nice little butter cubes that will be so fun to incorporate into your batter. Yay! And look at this handy apron. I don't like it all. Like my greasy little butter hands, grimy little butter fingers. On the apron. How convenient. Okay, now that I've cubed my butter, I set it to the side, and I will now put 1 cup of granulated sugar into my large bowl. Domino's sponsored me. Up next is the brown sugar, 1 cup in the bowl, packed. Make sure it's really in there so you get the amount of sugar that you should be, so it's nice and caramelly sweet from the brown. Up next is 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. I have to open up a new pack. Yeah, I will. Because vanilla in baking is like garlic in cooking. Can never really add too much, and I think everyone likes it, so. Now, 1 egg. Yolk and all. Get all that in there. Now, as you can see, right now in my big bowl, this is my quote-unquote wet bowl. I got my egg, I got both my sugars. I have my vanilla extract, and I give that like a good mix. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I'm kind of just doing this based off memory. Yeah. So I give it a good mix until it's all combined, just because it makes it a little bit easier later on when I will add the butter. And that's when like the hard part. Okay, I'm literally a liar. It's 2 large eggs. I was like, this thing's kind of dry. Okay, 2 large eggs, not 1. And I told you these were healthy. They have protein in it. I just had to double check. At least it's on. Remember. So now I'm incorporating that second egg. So it's 2 eggs. I'm sorry. Please watch this video all the way through in case I make another revelation and was wrong about something else. So I've mixed my egg, sugar, vanilla extract combo, so it looks like this. And now I will add all my butter into this bowl and try and mix it the best I can. Okay, this is the technique I try to do to like break up these butter cubes. I try to mash it against like the side of the bowl, and then I keep like going around, you know, but obviously my other hand is holding the bowl so it doesn't go anywhere and the butter actually makes it. Maybe I can like show you. See? And this takes a while. This part sucks. This is like the worst part. But I think using cold butter is kind of key because it doesn't fully, if you use melted butter, it'll just like fully mix in and whatever, which is very easy for preparation. But I think to have like little tiny chunks of butter in the batter when you cook it, it like keeps it soft, and then I don't know, there's butter in it. It's like more prevalent, I guess. I'm not too sure, but you know, I think it's good. I think this is part of the process. This is how you put love into it. Hard work, sweat, tears. What the wet mixture looks like with butter mixed in. Obviously I still have some pretty big chunks in here, but I'm pretty tired, and so now I gave up. And you really want to do this as thorough as you can now, because whatever you don't do, you're just saving for later when you mix the dry into this whole thing. So you're going to be doing it no matter what. Dry mixture. First, I will put in 3 cups of all-purpose flour into a new bowl. Once your 3 cups of flours are in the bowl, I add a teaspoon. I think actually my last recipe I accidentally added a tablespoon. I don't think I did it of baking soda. A teaspoon and a half. Okay, and then I add a teaspoon of cornstarch, and baking soda is for rising, and the cornstarch is for like a thickening agent, so it'll make it a little bit chewier, which is fun. And then take my sea salt, and I just go kind of crazy with that in there. I think the original recipe that I followed said a tablespoon, but a teaspoon, but how am I supposed to measure that in here? So I just kind of like do a lot. And I figure like, you know, I don't think you can really make it too salty. I mean, I guess one day maybe I'll find out. But like, not like, don't use like the whole thing on it, but you know, salt good. Make it tasty. And I'm just giving it a good mix all around. And the next step is to then cut up our chocolate bar so it can be incorporated into our dough. I think these are really satisfying to open. I love like this. I don't know. I feel like I'm in Willy Wonka. But anyways, okay, so I open up the package, and this is just what I do, and obviously you can do it literally any way you want it, as long as it isn't like a full chocolate bar in your cookie. But I usually start at like a corner, and I think it's important to use a big knife so you can get some leverage. If I start at like a corner, I hold the tip of the knife down, I just put pressure with my backhand, which is my right hand. And so I'm like shaving and I'm also cutting. And I'm working my way like diagonal across the bar. And sometimes you'll get like a really big piece and then I'll just come back and like cut it in half. And I'm gonna do this to both these bars. And then, remember, I'm making 2 batches eventually. I'm doing, this is what I'm showing you right now is serving for 1 dough. But I'm cutting up all these chocolate bars because I will eventually be making another batch of dough for the tailgate tomorrow. I love Navy football. Not really at all. But yeah, so I'll show you what I'm gonna do with this. Okay, so I've chopped up both of my chocolate bars that I was using, and I poured both of those chocolate chip things into this big bowl. This is a lot of chocolate. And you can really do whatever you want for a chocolate chip. I like using stuff that isn't too sweet, just because I don't like super sweet cookies or whatever. But you can really do whatever you want. I definitely like the combination of chips and like cut up chocolate bar. I think it gives it like, I don't know, I just think it's better. So yeah, so basically I'm gonna dump half of my chocolate, because this is for 2 batches, like I mentioned. Half the chocolate into my dry bowl, and then I'm gonna mix it around. That might be more than half, but whatever. Mix it around in here. My fingers, because it's fun. And then I'm gonna combine this dry mix right here with the wet, but I'm only gonna pour in 1/3 of this at a time. Mix it into the wet bowl until it's fully incorporated, and then I'm gonna add the second third, and then I'm finally gonna add the last little bit. And I'm only gonna add more once it's like ready, or else it's just very overwhelming and it's too hard to get like everything good, you know? And then this is the time where I have to break up the rest of that butter that I was too lazy to mix before. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So here's what my dough looks like, finished product. So all that's left is I am going to roll it into balls, and then I'm gonna leave it in these, like about this size, it doesn't matter. Obviously, if you want bigger cookies, make them bigger, you know? If you want smaller cookies, make them smaller. It's totally up to you. And then I'm actually gonna leave them, I'm gonna roll them, and I'm gonna leave them in the fridge for a bit. Here's the dough that I left in the fridge during that time. Here's my first batch. So obviously I have some more to work through. Oven on 375, leaving these in for about 10 minutes, depending on the size. And that's it.